welcome back to The Mandatory. We're here to hit you with another one. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms at The Mandatory TKO. Also, if you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. And if you've already been rocking with the show, we do appreciate you. Brian, a little bit of a slow week, but some news as well. One of the biggest news, and I think it may be called bluffing to some, but Shakur Stevenson is retiring. Is this the Teofimo Lopez Jr. formula?
I just I'm gonna read the tweet, but Shakur, you're not retiring, bro. Like you're not retiring. It's not happening. None of you dudes who say you're gonna retire I've said this a long time. I told this to our boy Dexter Henry when we did a podcast, the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast back in the day. There are two types of people that I never believe them when they say they're retiring. Rappers and boxers. Just never believe it. Shakur Stevenson's tweet. I'm officially retiring from the sport of boxing. This was a couple days ago. I'll be in the gym forever, perfecting my craft and helping the next generation become great and chase their dreams, but I ain't fuck with this weak boxing game.
A
Shakur
big sigh.
Stevenson.
A big sigh
Shakur,
from both of us.
like you're still on box rec. They're not gonna label you as retired. This is bullshit. Apparently, this is like because he couldn't get the fight for the vacant WBO lightweight title, which is gonna be contested by, excuse me, Emmanuel Navarrete,
Yeah.
and I'm forgetting actually who the other. Oh, Dennis Baranchyk, whose brother Ivan also fought. And Navarrete probably wins that fight. He's, going to be in that weight class. I think that Shakur Stevenson will probably fight Emmanuel Navarrete because they're both under Top Rank, and Top Rank's going to make that happen. Bob Arum probably saw that tweet, laughed his ass off, and it's like, bro, like we got you. We're going to get something for you very soon. But I think Shakur, we'll see him fight soon. I'm sure that this is some bullshit to try to create leverage, but I don't know if this actually will work, given that we saw his last fight
Yeah.
against Edwin De Los Santos. So
Yeah. If there was one way to describe that fight, would have been a snooze fest for a lot of people. SZA playing snooze in the background right now, but I think for a guy like Shakur Stevenson, he is labeled as such a boring fighter. I mean, he's had some exciting performances. Jamil Hearing, I thought, was one of his more exciting fights. And sometimes he puts on a really good performance and then he puts on a total dud. It's never consistent. But with him, he's a beautiful boxer. And he's one of those guys that you're thinking he's going to be the king of this division at the same time. I think there's a lot of interesting fights for Shakur to make. So for him to kind of throw a little bit of a fit, hey, you know what? Boxers are emotional. So I'm not surprised at that at all. They're kind of like wide receivers in the NFL, divas, right? Absolute divas. That's what boxers definitely are. So I'm not surprised at all. And at the same time, this is like the Teofimo Lopez Jr. formula. It really is. This is the exact same thing Teofimo Lopez Jr. did. And look, now he's going to be fighting Jermaine Ortiz. By the way, we are going to have our betting preview for that as well. So keep it locked here on The Mandatory. But, Brian and I were talking, and I was like, he has so many potential fights that he could have. And there's no way, Shakur Stevenson, that you are retiring before you fight Devin Haney. No way, because that's a fight that has to happen. You have to fight Tank. Does that fight ever happen as well? There's names that he can fight, and eventually he's going to move up to 140, because if you look at Shakur's body, he's built for a division like 140. I think Shakur could go all the way up to welterweight. Just the way that his body is built. So I think this is just him bluffing, and maybe this will get some things rubbling. Maybe he was just trying to see what everyone was trying to say about him retiring if people cared. Right? But I think he got more backlash than anything.
yeah,
More backlash than anything, because I think when Teofimo Lopez did it, because he's such a wild card, people were like, is he really going to retire? But not
right,
after
right,
you
right.
win. But not after you win against Josh Taylor. But it was just like Teo, like, okay, that's on brand,
Yeah,
right? Like
yep.
I feel like Shakur Stevenson is trying to create this persona that isn't necessarily him. And like you said, like if Shakur wants to be that dude, he has to kind of like really get into that villain role, kind of
Yeah.
like WWE. And I think maybe that's what he's
Yes.
trying to do, but we're all like, Shakur, this isn't you. Come on, number one, you gave us a snooze fest, and now you're saying you're retiring. Nobody believes you, and don't put us to sleep next time.
It's WrestleMania season, Shakur. Come on. Gotta come stronger than this. Yeah, I don't think he's retiring, so I think we can honestly just go to the next segment.
Let us know if you think he's retiring. Drop some comments below. Also, follow us on our social media channels. We're at TheMandatory TKO, and hit that like and subscribe button if you like the content. So
One
Canelo,
question.
oh yeah,
One question. If Shakur Stevenson does retire, let's just play this out because he's not going to. But if he does, what's his best win? Is it Oscar Valdez?
would have to be. Jamel Herring to me is a good win too. But Oscar Valdez is his best win. So he can't retire yet, especially if he wants to.
Yeah.
You know what's so stupid? And we just said we were going to get away from this topic. And I tried to wrap it up. And for me, you know what the dumbest part of this whole conversation is that he's like, I'm going to be there for the next generation. You are the next generation. What are you talking about? Stop it.
Yeah, he's like
You know,
26 years old.
yeah, like you like come on, like you haven't even really made your mark in the sport, and he has so much potential to be a great in this
Right.
sport. So it's just like, you don't want to cut yourself short, and it's just
He's basically on my pound for pound list, and I think, like you said, I think he can be a pound for pound like top 3, top 5 guy. Has that ability.
Yeah.
But he ain't gonna do that if he's retired. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
exactly. Drop your comments. Let us know if you think Shakur is retiring or not. Just we all